Hello, the Pioneer viewers. We continue to bring you developments regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. As you know, the war continues, and the increasing clashes in recent days have significantly affected the course of the war. The Russian army and the Ukrainian army are applying different methods to overcome the difficulties brought by the mutual conflict. Both armies are feeling the hardship of the war conditions, and Russia's attempted invasion has resulted in losses in recent days that have caused great regrets. Growing unrest and public grievances in Russia are putting Moscow in a difficult situation. The news of failures on the front lines and the problems that led Russian soldiers to leave the front line are seen as a major problem for the Kremlin administration. Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is preparing to announce his cabinet in the coming days, is reportedly under stress and anxiety, according to local sources. So as a result of the series of attacks organized by the Ukrainian army in recent days, Russian troops had suffered huge losses. The Russian army did not make any statements after these losses, and the data shared daily by the Ukrainian army shows the level of losses of the Russian army. And the Russian army cannot escape the attacks of the Ukrainian army in the facilities it has established to compensate for its losses. The facilities that produce military production on behalf of the Russian army are detected and then destroyed by the Ukrainian military intelligence. In the latest Ukrainian attack, Russian troops unexpectedly encountered a Ukrainian tank. The Ukrainian tank met 3 Russian tanks moving towards the Ukrainian territory and destroyed the leading one of the approaching tanks. And the footage of the operation was recorded by the Ukrainian army's unmanned aerial vehicles. Another good news for the Ukrainian army came from Germany. German officials have stated that they will support Ukrainian air defense. Now, if you're ready, let's examine the latest developments together. But as the Pioneer, we continue to bring you the latest developments on the Russia-Ukraine war. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. I also read all of your comments on our videos and I respond to them personally. So please continue to share your ideas about our content in the comments. And tell us in the comments what content you would like to see in the Pioneer channel. Let's start if you're ready. The Pioneer reports. So the attack footage released the other day once again showed the Ukrainian army's strength on the battlefield. The Ukrainian army destroyed Russian tanks attempting to infiltrate on the southern front. And the Ukrainian army had information about the infiltration attempt in the region. After receiving the information, a rapid operation plan was organized. And in the operation plan, a Ukrainian army tank was pulling Russian tanks to itself as a trap. So the Russian tanks were moving in 3 parts. When the Russian tanks pulled towards the Ukrainian tank reached the targeted area, they were exposed to strong fire. As a result of firing from the Ukrainian tank, the vanguard of the Russian tanks was destroyed. In the following process, the remaining tanks were neutralized by the units of the Ukrainian army. Ukrainian military intelligence provides critical information to the Ukrainian army, and military intelligence has a great contribution to the gains made by the Ukrainian army throughout the war. Ukrainian military intelligence is constantly working to obtain the most critical information and relay it to the Ukrainian army. So Russian troops, on the other hand, are experiencing very stressful days due to the Ukrainian offensives. In a video that emerged the other day, a Russian soldier complained of moments of fear. And the Russian soldier said that the army and leadership was deliberately sending them to their death. The footage of the soldiers experiencing moments of the fear reached thousands of people in Russia in a short time. In the comments under the image, containing great reactions against the Putin administration were used. So another welcome development for Ukraine's military came as a result of news from Germany. Germany will supply Kiev with 6 radar systems to bolster Ukraine's air defense capabilities, which face repeated barrages of Russian drone and missile attacks. Moscow has been trying to bomb Ukrainian cities with drones and missiles, often targeting civilian infrastructures such as energy facilities. The Ukrainian Air Force said its air defense units destroyed all 13 Shahed drones launched by the Moscow from Russia's Belgorod Oblast, which borders the country. Kiev said Russia attacked Ukraine with 4 surface-to-air guided missiles and that the drones attacked the eastern city of Kharkiv and damaged civilian infrastructure. As seen in this case, Ukraine is known to frequently use air defense systems. The German company said in a statement that an aid package of more than 100 million euros from Berlin will be sent by the end of the year with 6 TRML-4D radar systems to strengthen Ukraine's air defenses. The company, which also supplies the German armed forces, said that the radars can detect and track drones, low-flying cruise missiles, and the aircraft, including helicopters, within a radius of up to 160 miles. Our radars are urgently needed for Ukraine's air defense, company CEO Oliver Dure said in a statement. The German government will also send another Patriot air defense systems to Ukraine as soon as possible, he said. According to the German government figures, Berlin has so far sent 8 TRML-4D radars to Ukraine and has announced it will send one more as part of the military aid. Despite the additional German aid for Ukraine, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz faced criticisms for saying that he would not be able to supply the terrorist KPD 350 missiles that Kiev has long called for. Scholz said its supply would draw Germany into a conflict and contradict NATO members' efforts to contain the war in Ukraine. However, Berlin remains a key ally for Ukraine against Russian aggression, delivering military aid worth of 28 billion euros to Ukraine, according to the latest German government figures. The aid package announced this week includes at least 10 murder combat vehicles, an air surveillance radar, and ammunition shells for Leopard 2 battle tanks. The ability of the Ukrainian army to continue its fight against Russia is also a critical security need for European countries, and the Ukrainian army's fight against Russian aggression is being closely monitored by the European countries. For Europe's security, Ukraine must emerge victorious from this war. Otherwise, Russian aggression is likely to spread the war to the wider areas. So now it's your turn. What do you think about the Ukrainian army's tank attack? What do you think is the main reason for the difference in approach between the Russian army and the Ukrainian army? And what do you think about the support packages provided to the Ukrainian army? Do you think NATO will get involved in this war? You know that we care about your opinion, so please share it with us.